Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing today? Yes, guys. I am back with another episode. Yes, guys. I'm so excited, so honored today. Y'all know before I do talk about my guests that come in today, I'm going to introduce myself and then introduce my guests. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, Homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. But today, I got an R&B legend up here. Look, I got to get this lady her flowers, honey. Baby, when I say this woman been a part of my childhood since I was, 12? Look, y'all, that was 20 years ago. Don't judge me. Do not judge me. I'm just saying. But I'm honored and I'm so excited to have this R&B legend, singer, and songwriter with the pen, honey, the one and only Miss Patrice Stewart, a.k.a. Miss ButtaPhly. How you doing today?
How are you? Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Look, sis, I'm honored to have you, honey, because I mean, today, look, before we even get to that, like, we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Whitney Houston's 5th album, Just Whitney. Like, how do you feel like today has been 20 years? I know you said it's been 20, but you said...
Oh, I just want you to know that. It's been 20 years that fast?
Yeah, 20 years.
Lord, I was telling Crab, one of the writer I wrote the Whitney songs with. I'm like, can you believe it's been 20 years? He said it's like it was 14 days ago. I'm moving, and it does not waste for nobody. I mean, I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you telling me 20 years, and I'm looking like, damn, it really has been 20 years. So crazy.
Aw. Well, I mean, you know what, Patrice, I think it's super amazing because, you know, we always talk about the early 2000s kind of being like a different generation. You know, this was the 21st century that we were coming in. And, you know, I know you were in a time where the sound was changing, you know, R&B was changing, you know, hip hop was just starting to take over in this time. So, you know, being a part of Whitney Houston's project, I know this was a big, huge thing for you, but I know you've done stuff before. But before we do get to that, I wanted to ask, because I always do a mental check-in on my guests that come in. I wanted to ask you, how have you been doing since child? We've been in a crazy pandemic since the 2020s. How have you been?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I welcomed it, and I say that because I'm like a introverted extrovert. I like people. I love people actually, but when it's too many people, it just be a lot for me. I'm an empath, so I be feeling everybody's energy. So I welcome staying my ass at home. And I say,
you can't, girl. You fine.
Stay in my butt at home, and then I got a teenager. She want to go somewhere every weekend. I'm her driver, so I welcomed it. I loved that I could stay home and chill. And actually, it awakened like some sleeping giants in me, like especially like creatively. It made me sit still. So things that had just been laying dormant, projects that I had just been in my brain, just laying there, and I wasn't acting on them. God was like, you don't sit your butt down, and I'm gonna make you do it. And that's exactly what I did. I accomplished like 2 different projects, and I was just like, oh wow, thank you. But I liked it. I was cool with it, and it was wonderful to me until it wasn't anymore. Then I wanted to go places, and I'm like, oh, let's hurry up, Mr. COVID. We're gonna have to come on. Let's hurry up. So yeah, I didn't mind it, and I just feel like God just had to stop the world. Like, y'all moving too fast. Y'all need to slow down and see what's important in your lives. And I think everybody kind of made everybody take a step back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's important in our lives? And unfortunately, we lost so many people.
Yeah.
You know, it just made you count your blessings and you know, and just like appreciate the simple things.
Preach.
Mm-hmm.
Preach. Yeah, and that's why I understood too. I think for a lot of creatives like yourself, and I know you graduated, congratulations, you graduated from college and all that stuff, sis. Baby, you are a college educated queen. So I'm gonna give you your flowers, honey, because not only that you've done stuff in the industry, but you've done stuff for yourself and not even that be an impact to a lot of people that, you know, even though I am in this industry, I can't go get my education. I respect that so much. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for you and yourself being an example for your daughter, I feel like being an inspiration for people like in the industry, you can go and do bigger things for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So much respect to you.
Thank you. And it doesn't limit yourself. Like I was just telling my daughter, I took her on a tour to UCLA yesterday, and I was like, I wish I would have knew all the options I had when I was in high school. That, you know, I had music departments in college, you know, and just all the plethora of things and programs and opportunities they had. I'm like, I just wish I would have known then, but my mom was on music always. High school was just music. I was like, I'm about to graduate because I'm about to be a star. You know, nothing. My mama was like, no, I just Well, I'm like, Mama, that's gonna wait. But I promised her I was gonna go to school, and I did. I did that for her. I mean, I did it for me too, but I wanted to give her that promise. But yeah, like, and one thing about writing, I'm not just a songwriter. I'm a writer. So I have a degree in creative writing. I have a degree in professional writing. So I'm just I'm a writer, and it you shouldn't limit yourself to just. And I'm a big advocate of not putting me in a box for nothing. I don't like no box. Don't put me in no box because I'm about to tear. Just open up yourself. And I think like in life, have phases.
Right.
This phase we doing this, and then let's move on and evolve to another phase.
Right.
So, we all in this life journey just trying to figure it out and roll with the punches.
And you know what? That's so true. And I think like y'all love what you just said about life's journey, because like you said, with COVID, it changed all our lives. So everybody took a different transition. But I feel like it's the best for you, because not only that, you said with your pen, like that you done stuff with your pen that's different from, like you said, creative and professional grammar. People don't talk about it so much, and the mechanism of writing. And I think it's amazing for you that you taking your craft and you done it with other things, besides in the arts. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So much respect. Thank you, sister. Congratulations. You college educated queen. I'm the same way too. I got 2 degrees as well. So like I said, when I see people go back, yes, girl, I got a master's and a bachelor's. So honey, like I said, when us as Black women can reach for the stars, I feel like we're limitless. And like I said, college has no age limit. So that's what I love about it too.
Okay, hold on. But like it's like you said, it's no age limit, and we keep on. We Black women, we got power. So it is right there. It is what it is. We can do what we put our mind. I could do all things through Christ that strengthens me, and I instill that daughter day in and day out. I could do whatever. If I could build a house, if I put my mind to it, I'll build a house. But
that part. That part, yes, sis. Thank you so much. I respect that. So now, before we get started and talk about the great late RP, the late great Miss Whitney Houston, we want to talk about you and who you are as a person. So I know you're from Carson, California, girl. Now that's what my favorite singer of all time, Miss Brandy Norwood's from Carson. Yeah. So honey, they got some talent down in Carson. So I want to ask you, how was it like growing up there? And not even that, like, how did you get your love for R&B music? Like, who were some of your inspirations, and like, what made you want to go on R&B, and why did you want to go?
Okay, so a side note, I'm Moesha. So
you said, wait, what?
I used to be on Moesha. If you go to the first season, you'll see me all in the background. I had one little speaking role on her 16th birthday episode, but
I'm gonna watch that.
On my age, without telling y'all my age, but I grew up. I'm a PGK. I'm a preacher grandkid. So Church of God in Christ, born and raised. All my family is from the South. They're from Little Rock, Arkansas. I grew up in a very, 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 very religious, Pentecostal. I couldn't wear lipstick, fingernail polish, pants. Very, very strict upbringing. So as far as when it came down to music, I was, of course, in the church choir, and that's where all my music came from. The only secular real music I would get would be on the radio. And my dad, they like the Marvin Gaye, loved Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie Wonder, and I love Stevie Wonder. It's just something about him. The Hotter Than July album changed my life.
Come on.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Marvin Gaye. But then we got to the 80s. I mean, like the mid to late 80s. I think it was like the late 80s when Shirley Murdoch entered my life. And
come on, sis.
Shirley, I was like, oh my goodness. And my sister is older than me, so she used to buy the tapes. And so when she would leave the house, I would hurry up and dub the tape. And when my mom was gone, and I would dub the tape, and then I would listen to it, when nobody was at home. And I would just kind of learn her runs over and over and over again. I loved her voice. I loved her tone. I listened to a lot of gospel, Mississippi Mass Choir, the one, a lot of gospel. But I was just always loved music, always from being a child. My mother got me into playing the piano. I wrote my first song at 7, and she still has it in her piano seat, whatever it is. She write the actual music, the music notes. I would make the melodies, and I would write the song was called Jesus, I Love You. But I've been writing music my whole life. I've always been a writer. I was just telling my mom this morning. I was like, Mom, you know, some people just have a passion for something, and like we still trying to figure out what my passion is. But I'm like, I always knew I wanted to write. It's just something I was born like, this is what I want to do. It was just automatic. And then we didn't have growing up, we didn't have all these distractions that the kids have now. We didn't have the internet like that. We had to go outside and play. So I used to just have to create. And when you locked in, I mean, when you're not locked, but when you're in a room and you don't have really nothing to do, it makes you pull things out of the air and create things. So I thank God for that. If I was distracted, I probably wouldn't even tapped into those gifts that I had. But it was just always in me, always.
Wow, that is so amazing. I love that you said Shirley brought out. She's been a big inspiration. She's been on my show. She's such a gem and such a jewel. And it's amazing. People talk about how serious she was, like, from her gospel roots. You can hear that R&B sound in her gospel roots. And I think it's amazing. Coming from a strict background where you come from, you can see that people like her, that even though she's from church, she can do that type of music. You know what I'm saying? So I understood why you stood out there. And I think it's amazing that you found your gift at 7. And not even that you really kind of honed into that. And it's starting to make sense about who you are with writing and stuff like that. I feel like from you, your inspiration comes from, I guess, experience, but not even that. You kind of seeing stuff and kind of writing into your own thing. Like, you probably did you have like a journal or something to make you and be inspired by writing?
My whole life is written down. Like,
what?
Life is written. Like, it's written. And
wow.
I just brought something up to me when I was with Whitney for 2 months. So Whitney asked me, she said, when did you know that you wanted to do this? And I completely forgot until you just said that, right? And I remember our church went to go see Mama, I Want to Sing. Okay.
Girl, you know I know that.
It was at the Wilshire Ebell Theater. And I remember I had on my fake little rabbit coat and I was out that theater. And it married my life so much.
Wow.
It was like, she wasn't supposed to sing that type of music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I remember walking out that theater and looking at the ground. And I was like, Mama, I want to sing. I looked at my mama. I said, Mama, I want to sing. And then Whitney telling me that play was written about her. I had no clue. Yes.
Girl, what?
Yes, she said the play was written about her.
Wow.
And I think about it in hindsight, it's the same exact thing. It was in the church. They didn't want secular music. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy how it just come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But that was crazy, yeah. But that's I knew. I put the stamp on it. I was like, this is what I want to do, Mom.
Oh, you know what? That's why I say I feel like, you know, and it's amazing because for you, I feel like your heart was always in music, and it's so amazing. You got people saying, wow, like, that's very shocking because now it makes so much sense about people who come from the church and they really have this fight with what they want to feel and believe in. But I feel like God put something in your heart. You should use your gift for the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like you did, Patrice. You know what I'm saying? In so many ways. So get into your writing. I know as you get older, I know you were in this group. You were in a rap duo group, Sapphire and ButtaPhly. Is that the group that you was in?
Well, yeah, but even before that, I was in a 4-girl group. And it was for 5 years.
Okay.
And we worked hard. I mean hard. Hard. We was hungry. And fortunately, we had got a demo deal with DreamWorks, and 2 of the girls got pregnant the next week.
Damn.
Right. After 5 years. So I was devastated. And
wow.
My other friend in the group, she was devastated too. So I had to come up with something. I remember was so crazy. I don't think I've ever told nobody this, but the day we had the meeting with DreamWorks, we left the meeting, all 4 of us. I didn't know the girls was pregnant, and we were going to eat, but I had to use the restroom. So I pull by my house, and I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, and then we gonna go and get something to eat. When I walk in the house, it's this Asian guy sitting at the table with my parents, and as soon as he drops his mouth and he just stares at me like, and I was like, oh hi, and I just keep run to the back real quick, and then run back to the front to leave. And my he was like, wait, what's your name? I was like, my name's Patrice, but I'm in the car. Which way? He said, Patrice. I got to remember that. So the next morning, my mom, like, remind you, I've been in church my whole life. Nobody's ever prophesied on me, ever.
Wow.
I'm getting ready for my job. I was working for LA Unified. I'm like 18 years old. I'm getting ready. My mama come in the bathroom. She was looking at me crazy. I was like, what? She said, do you know that man prophesies on you? I was like, what you mean? She said, he didn't even have our address. She said the Holy Spirit led him to our house. He was selling some insurance or something.
Right.
He said, maybe I'm only coming. He spoke immaculately. He had been in the United States for 2 months. And he said, maybe my whole purpose of coming here is to tell you this. He said, your daughter is going to go through a lot of things, but she's going to make it. And only thing I heard was, I'm going to go through a lot of things. What you mean? What you mean?
Yeah.
She's going to make it. And he said, it's a lot of people that's going to be jealous and envious of her, but she going to make it. She going to fight through. And so I'm just like, wow. What you mean? More things. And then the next week, we found out they got pregnant. You know, so I just had to with something because it wasn't fair to the other girl either.
Right.
With she would do like the raps and the songs. So I had came up with Flying Sapphire. Actually, this producer named we call him Meat Ship. He did Toss It Up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His son is actually played Tupac in All Eyes on Me. But
Demetrius Shield. What?
Yeah, my neighborhood. His father like my big homie. But yeah, Meech was telling me, he was like, you know, if you was a rapper, what would your name be? I was like, my name would be ButtaPhly. He was like, that's your name. I was like, that's my name then. So I just pushed that. So God kept putting it on my heart, heavy, heavy, heavy. If you want it, leave. If you want it, leave. If you want it, leave. And I was like, dang, I got bills. I got a job.
Yeah.
But he was like, if you want it, leave. If you want to leave. So I kept telling my mom, God telling me if I want it, I gotta stop and do it. So she called me one day. She was like, baby, I'll help you with your bills. Yeah. And it was all she wrote after that. I didn't take no day for granted. Every morning I got up, I was in somebody's studio. I was writing something. I don't even care if the track was trash. I was gonna get in there and I was just gonna write to it and just
right.
My craft. I would take instrumentals. I used to write to a lot of DJ Quick tracks.
What?
Yeah, I wrote songs to his. I have R&B songs to his tracks. But I just write to. I didn't take nothing for granted, and I was just hungry. And then we ended up getting with these managers. They were with Flavor Unit West at the time, and they were actually the ones that got us to DreamWorks. And then they just was trying to shop us. I did Love Me or Leave Me Alone. That was my single. And that song is actually 22 years old. That song is super old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super old. But I did Love Me or Leave Me Alone. And I think the night that Shakespeare won his Grammy, my manager's friend was driving down La Cienega and see Shakespeare. And he's like, hey, you know, I want to holler at you. So they pull over. And he's telling him, you know, actually, he was in the car with Shake, and they saw us, me and my friend on La Cienega. And so he was like, pull over, I want to meet him. So Shake just won his Grammy. He was feeling himself. I was like, oh, he's an asshole. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
right.
His mind, I think it was a girl around. He was trying to holler at the girl, and dude was like trying to introduce her. So I was like, man, whatever. So I'm like, so maybe like a few days later, I get a call there at the studio, and they were like, Shake, meet you. He heard Love Me or Leave Me Alone. He want to meet you like now. I'm up here right now. I was like, shit, all right, bye. Just jailed. Shake is like my brother. We just jailed. Just gave him like, you know, a lot of the songs I had been working on, and like, I want to sign you. So it was he signed a duo. Unfortunately, the duo didn't work out. LA Reid ended up signing me. But he found I could write for other people. So I ended up getting 11 songs placed after I signed with him, because whoever came for a track, I was the writer. So because him and Candy had split at the time. So
oh wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, they had split at that time, and I was there. It was actually, that's how I met Scrap. It was like 17 of us. We went to Miami all on a tour bus. We stayed in President Roosevelt's old mansion.
Wow.
We were out there for maybe 3 months, and I call it boot camp because we couldn't go nowhere. Shake did not play that, especially with the girls. We couldn't go. I had got so pale because I wouldn't go outside because the mosquitoes were tearing my behind up. But we just worked. And when I mean everybody came through that house, Naomi Campbell, Rodney Jerkins, Lenny Kravitz. We had so many people come through that house. And I'm just like, if it was the day and age of reality TV, then we would have been on. But I do have a lot of stuff on video that I was taking, because I've always been a picture video person. So I do have a lot of video, but it was like a boot camp, and I learned a lot. He would be hard on us, you know, but I was raw talent, so he had to help groom me. And then we ended up coming back to Atlanta, and we were shopping the deal. Like I said, the duo didn't work out, so L.A. Reid ended up signing me, and I felt real bad because under the circumstances, my friend, she was my best friend, she wasn't able to get signed, so I didn't really tell people about it. So it was bittersweet. But my mind was just, I was so focused. Like, I literally was sleeping on a mattress on the floor. I didn't care. Work. I would work all through the night. And get a few hours of sleep and be back up working. We was just working because I was hungry, and I wanted them to know I was hungry. And it was just a blessing.
That's amazing. And you know, I love that too, Patrice, because you talked about your grind. Like, people don't understand, I think, the grind from versus back then to now, because, you know, we in 2022, everything is kind of given to the new generation. You know what I'm saying? But y'all really grind. Like, I was talking to one of the songwriters, Kelly. She was telling me the same thing about what Rodney was doing. Like, he would work, like, make y'all work. Like, he'd make y'all write songs. Pretty much everybody as a collective whole, but at the same time, everybody had their own thing to do, but not even that. Everybody came together and did songs. Like, y'all worked. It was no sleep, grind hours. I was like, Lord, they must have had y'all really working. So I feel like with Shakespeare, he reminds me of Rodney in that way. The way you, I feel like if you want to hit, or not even just a hit, if you want to make a song that's going to resonate with people, you have to bring your best. And I feel like that's what Shakespeare was doing with you. And that's why I'm starting to realize you were on Ice's album that made 20 years. Congratulations on that. Girl, you did my song Stood Up, honey. Well, you got 4 songs exactly, but girl, you did one of my songs Stood Up. And I remember hearing that on some like TV show or something like that, because, you know, I think that song should have been a single. You know what I'm saying? So was like Ice is like your first placement with them? Like, was that your first placement, or who was like your first placement at the time?
You know what? Like I said, everything was moving so fast. So I don't know what the first. I'm gonna tell you a story about Isis. Wait, no, nothing bad.
Okay.
Like I said, songs, but like I was so burnt out. I ended up getting sick, and I ended up going to the hospital. And Ice was still in Atlanta, and I remember going to the ER. I had to be in the hospital for I don't know how many hours. And I remember coming back to the house, and I had to write the song. And when I was out of it. And I ended up doing what song was that? One of the songs. And I ended in my one of my best friends was out there in Atlanta with me, and she was like, I can't believe you was sick and you still wrote that song.
Girl, Stood Up is that jam, girl. I don't understand. That was a jam.
Stood Up, I had like wrote to maybe a DJ Quick song long time ago, and I just was like pulled it up. It was like, oh, this might go good for them. So it was just an idea I had, and I wrote it for them. But I think let me see, 702. So I want to say he was maybe the first one.
So many girl groups, because you, like you said, you did 702. They made 20 years. Like, girl, you've been a part of a lot of stuff. So.
And those were unreleased songs with 3LW. I did like 2 or 3 with 3LW.
Girl, wait a minute. What? You talking about the one that came into A Girl Came Back?
And then this is when Notori wasn't in the group anymore.
Oh, Girl Came Back. That's my album too. Girl, that is my album.
The songs we didn't make that album. I did it with the stars, but I was with them for a couple of weeks. Shout out, and that's my girl. But yeah. I did a lot of girl group stuff, and it doesn't click until like when people say things. I'm like, dang, I did work with them.
But I think it's dope because I feel like, you know what, it started to make a lot of sense. Even though with your girl group, you didn't get the chance, you helped out a lot of other girl groups. You know what I'm saying? So those full circle moments.
Yeah, that was my heart. And I always used to singing, like growing up in the choir, I was always used to singing with other people. I'm a vocal producer. Like, I love backgrounds. Like one of my real gifts. Like on the Usher album. Backgrounds is
gonna get to that.
Yeah, background is my thing. I'm really, really, really big on backgrounds. So I'm always singing with other people. So having the opportunity 702 was on my bucket list, so I was love the opportunity to write with them. I mean, write with them and work with them. But yeah, girl groups was my heart. I loved girl groups. I love harmony, and I love the sisterhood. That whole thing.
That's amazing. And Patrice, I love that, because I think for you, what I'm loving about you and who you are as a person, you love to share your gifts to the world. And that's starting to make sense to me. And that's why with you and Shakespeare, I think y'all had this groove and this this pattern of how to kind of gel together, but not even make songs that's going to touch people's lives with R&B music. You know what I'm saying? And learning about this now, like with this start. So, okay, we're getting into when you were in boot camp with Shakespeare. So I guess, like you said, the start of the placement started coming. So was it like in 2002, 2001? Like, how did you kind of like get into the groove? And not even that, how did you get, I guess now we'll get into that Whitney phase. Like after 𝐼'S, after that, like did Whitney come after that or before them? Or like what, how did you get in the realm of Whitney Houston?
I believe Whitney was after. It was January. I remember it was January because it was cold. And I remember the Songwriter, you always hear people say, like producers, oh, we doing this song for such and such. And you be like, all right, whatever. You know, we'll do the song and the person won't take the song. So when I called, Shake was like, it was like in January, and I remember it was winter and it was cold. And I was only supposed to go out there for like a week. So he's like, ButtaPhly, we working with Whitney. I need you here tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I'm just thinking, oh, we some songs and we gonna give them to her and then see what happens, because that's happened before.
Right.
I get out there and I'm right on the floor, because I always write on the floor. I like to be on the floor and no shoes and socks on and stuff. And I'm in front of the fire and Whitney Houston walk in and I'm like, are you freaking? I like could not believe it. Like I was like, I'm here. Like it blew my mind. And we weren't we used to live in this, it's called the Music House. It was a house. So I'm like, Houston in the place where I live? Like I sleep here. You know what I mean? I just couldn't believe it, because I grew up on Whitney, like the Bodyguard and, all that. So when she came, I had got so nervous. And then she came in there, when she smiled at me, all my little anxieties went down, because when I mean,
Patrice, you cry? Did you cry, girl?
I cried after the fact. Cry in front of her, because I knew how to compose myself. I didn't want to act like a fan. But I was just, oh my goodness. I was like, wow, this is Whitney Houston. But when she smiled, it was just like this genuine love. And everything just went away. And then the fact that she was just so welcoming with me, and her and Bobby, and we must be there for like 5 hours, and I kept singing the song over and over. And I'm knee to knee with Bobby, because to get to her, you got to go through him. So he had to approve of it, and he just loved it. He loved it. He's like, sing it again. Like, all right, come on, sing it again. I'm singing it over and over again. And then rap came in with the verses, because I'm more melodic. I'm real melodic, and he doesn't sing like that. She sings more choppy. And so Dwight wrote the verses choppy for her, and it fit her real good. And we just keep going over the songs over and over. And I remember when they left, it's probably 3:00 in the morning. I went upstairs to that one little mattress I was sleeping on, and I just cried all night, thanking the Lord. I just could not believe it. I was like, oh my goodness. I just couldn't believe it. Just over and over
for Whitney and Bobby.
Yeah, both of them, girl. And I was with them for 2 months. We were in Atlanta for about, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then we ended up going to Miami. I actually spent one of my birthdays out there when I was on that project. But it was a wonderful experience. And one thing about Whitney, out of all the industry people I know, she's like really one of, Faith is another one. She a real one, like a real one,
It's always those two out here. That's the main two out here all the time. They are the realest ones in the industry.
Yeah. And they both from Jersey. But like I'm the Faith too. I'm on Faith's album.
Catch Your Feelings.
So but Whitney was just, and one thing about Whitney, because it's a male dominated industry. So most of the time I was always the only girl. So I always had to kind of like boyish myself. So when they wouldn't look at me in a sexual way. So I always like kind of wore baggy clothes and stuff. like I said, I was there to work. So I wasn't, it's not the time we're living in now where everybody got to, show themselves Instagram or whatever. I used to be no makeup. I'm there to work. This is what I'm talking about. It's the time and the place for all that. So I used to be bummy too. But one thing about Whitney, like I said, it was always men. So I remember one night I was asleep upstairs and they came and got me. It was like, Whitney wants you. And I was like, what she want? I was like, come on, ButtaPhly, talk to me. So we must have sat at that table for about 3 hours. And she was so interested in me. And I'm like, I am nobody. Like nobody. I'm nobody. But she wanted, she was like, I could tell your grandfather prayed over you. And that's when we would talk about the Mama I Want to Sing. And at the time she was staying with Perry Pebbles, L.A. Reid.
I remember that.
So Whitney had gave me a prayer cloth soaked in blessed oil. And she was like, I want you to have this. I still got it around here somewhere. But we on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
We both love the Lord. And we just connected like that. And I just couldn't believe like somebody with her would be interested in somebody like me. Like I'm a new to this industry. But one thing she saw in me, she told me I had the power of the pen. I remember that. And she told me that she said I was too nice. She said, you gotta sometimes be a bitch. And I was
that's hard.
And she told me, she was saying, Bobby was her Rottweiler. And so she was like, you don't have that. You're gonna have to sometimes be a bitch, and you can't be afraid for people to call you that. Because I was like so young and like, I don't want anybody to be mad at me, this.
Right.
But I understand now what she meant. You have to be stern, because these men will try to get over on you.
Oh yes.
So she would like mentor me. So for the whole 2 months, she was mentoring me because, like I said, I was doing my album also. So she would, tell me things I needed to do, this, that, and other, and I would just feel so blessed. And even like I said, most of the time when you do a song for somebody, we might lay like some rough vocals, and you don't need me no more. But she wanted me there, so I ended up what meant I was supposed to be there for 1 week. It ended up turning into 2 months. So and then we ended up going to Miami. She was like, I want ButtaPhly to go too. So right. So
she
I was
looked out for you. She protected you.
Yeah, and she did. And like I said, she just it's not a lot of people like her, truly. And just her genuineness and the way she wasn't no fake thing. She wasn't fake. She would tell you like it is. She a Leo. But just
that's me. You see? Oh yes, ma'am. She right there.
She just, straight to the point. She shoot it straight from the hip, but genuine. It didn't come from no bad place. Everything that she said, loving, and you got to do this. They're gonna try to do this, but do this. Don't do this. Don't sign that. You got to do this. And I was just soaking up anything that she could tell me. And I remember being in Miami when she actually, because she had Charlotte, that was her name, her background singer, came in and did all the background vocals. And I remember when we were in
So you went on the background for one of those days?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her name. Charlotte was on the backgrounds. And I remember when she was in the studio, I swear it looked like a movie. I'm sitting on the couch, and Benny Black, that's Shakespeare cousin, that's my boy, my brother. He did a lot of songs on my album. He was an engineer, and we're sitting on the couch and watching Ben on the mixing board, and in Whitney you could see her through the window, and I was like, is this a dream? Like, I just couldn't believe Whitney singing something that I wrote. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. It was just like amazing to me because I'm like, Bodyguard like changed my life. Like, I love the body, and I just couldn't believe that she was singing something that I wrote. It was just surreal to me. So it was just like a dream and a complete blessing. And for her to trust me, matter of fact, I hadn't had no songs played. So I want to say she was the first song I got placed because I remember thinking like, she's the first person, established artist, that gave me a chance. Like, she didn't have to, I wasn't no name brand person, so she just took a chance on me. And then when I found out it was the first single, that was a whole nother thing. That was crazy. because I didn't believe that either. I was like, they always say that. And then I talked to her A&R. He's like, no, they doing a video. You need to come out here. But I ended up not going. But I was just like, that's the single?
Girl.
It was surreal to me. It was just surreal.
That is so amazing, sis. And then now you had 2 songs. You had Dear John Letter too. Like, those songs, like, I feel like, and I'm gonna say this too about the album. For me, I know I'm gonna ask you later on in the thing. I just feel like this album was really truly Whitney. Whitney, 100%. Her album. I feel like this is the Whitney I think she always wanted to do when it came down to singing. You know what I'm saying? R&B, you know, vocals, like Whitney always had the vocals, like, period. But I think for her, she always wanted to get with us all the time. You know what I'm saying? With that R&B roots in the sound. And I really like this body of work. It made so much sense to me. And I know a lot of people were trying to really, like, not promote it heavily because of all the hoopla and all the stuff that went down back in 2002. But sitting back, looking at it now, this album was her freedom album. I feel like this was independent. This is something I feel like Whitney wanted to do because, you know, she just had that $100 million contract. You know, Whitney was really about to really definitely at that time take over because she really was the biggest artist at the time. And for you to get her first leading song on it, that's huge for Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? For you in general, period. But that's huge along for her to just come back. Because like I said, we so used to her being this ballad-driven type of, you know, woman and make, songs and stuff like that really go to pop. But I feel like with this right here, what you gave her with Dear John Letter in One of Those Days, I was like, okay, she got the Ozzy brothers between the sheets. And I'm like, okay, like Whitney's going in on R&B back. Like, she's coming for us in the sound and make us understand that, look, I've always been R&B. But at the end of the day, I want y'all to make sure to know that I always love y'all. I'm here for y'all. And I feel like this was just a love letter to R&B for her.
Yeah, and that was Shakespeare's goal. He was like, we need to R&B on her. He was like, we told her that. We was like, we love you. You know what I mean? Your people love you. So you need to give a little homage back. And the 𝐼𝐴 took a whole lot of them publishing. But
yeah, they did.
It was worth it. I mean, the song came out really good, but that was our goal. We wanted her to do R&B. We weren't trying to do no pop on her, you know? And I'm an R&B, like, I'm an R&B head. Like, and even when like writing, because everything was changing around that time. This was when the net was real big, and Timbaland, and everything was changing, and everything wasn't melodic anymore. And like I said, I'm a melodic melody maker. And so things were changing, and I still I can only sing what God has given me to sing, because I'm an instrument. And so they trying to make me do this, and I'm like, well, that's not what I'm feeling. And then it would be kind of robotic to me. So doing the R&B, that was just like, that was my thing with her. And I was just like, oh, I get a chance to do this, and then she gonna sing it too. So I'm like, yes.
and I feel like that's what Whitney wanted to do. I remember in the 106 & Park interview that she did, you know, she shouted you out. And I think that was just the most amazing thing that she did for you 20 years ago. You know, Patrice, that is just, girl, Whitney, girl, you were good. Either way, she gave you a shout out and you met her. So either way it is, you were good. But I feel like for Whitney, and I love what she said in the interview, she was like, I do music from my heart, because if it speaks to the people at the end, it has to speak to me. And I love that, because at the end, one thing I loved about her, she said she's not going to sing nothing that she can't feel. And I was like, okay.
That's true. And that's true. Because that's true, because we had different verses for One of Those Days. And she was like, it's not really. So we had to switch it. So Whitney, definitely, this was her. And she did handpick the songs. You know, if she didn't like something, she was going to tell you. Okay, you know, this ain't me. Because originally in my letter, I had her leaving him.
Oh.
I did. I had her leaving him. Like, we need to reword it to where I want to leave, and I'm just gonna write this letter, but I'm not gonna leave him. So we had to change. So it's definitely Whitney. She definitely had her in on the whole project.
Yeah, and then Bobby Brown being the EP of it, so I know he had his say in a lot of stuff too as well. But I think, like I said, this too, sis, I feel like for me, this was a home of Whitney one to always get to, because, you know, this is a transition. You know, she's now working LA. Reid is the head of Arista at this time, so this was like a huge transition for her to do her own thing, and I really love this about this album. And when I was sitting today, I was like, my favorite, you know, it always makes me cry. I tried on my own. I love that song. I really love that song, because it was a really bold statement. I didn't understand back then, but now as an adult, I get what she was trying to convey in the message. And I feel like with she really was taking ownership of what she felt in control of her music, but now then she wanted to control how the way she wanted to portray her album, period. You know what I'm saying? She was gonna be over everything from the cover to the lyrics to the song. You can tell like this was Whitney. Like that's why it's called Just Whitney.
Yeah. No, when you sent me that message earlier saying, you know, this message and this album, you can play it all the way through. And like I said, it was so much going on at that time. I never even listened to the whole album, truthfully. So yeah, truthfully. And I'm embarrassed to say that. But like I'm saying, everything's moving so fast, I never just sat down and just took the time to listen to it. And you mentioned that song, and I heard when I was in the shower this morning, I was just like, let me listen to the album. I don't want to go in an interview and I don't know what she's talking about. I was like, that song stuck out. And I'm like, it touched me too. Cause I was like, I feel like she's still speaking to us and she's not even here, but she's still speaking to us. And she was doing it her way. And she did not give any FUCKs about what anybody had to say about any damn thing. And I love that. I love that about her. And she knew she wasn't perfect. She knew she had her flaws, but she loved the Lord. And I can say that without any type of hesitation. Whitney had her things that she battled with, but her love for the Lord just outshined everything. You could see it. Like I said, when she smiled, everything just went away. I was just like, wow, she really is this person. You know, she was this Hollywood diva where she walked in there with sunglasses on. She couldn't speak to nobody. She wasn't her. Really, Whitney was the real one.
Come on, sis, and that's why this album is just so timeless. I want to ask you, because I know you said it was a lot going on. Did you really even understand the success? Like, you know, it did go platinum, and it did go number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it did go number 2 on R&B charts. Like, did you even get the fathom? Like, because at the time, you know, when she was trying to promote the album, you know, she did the interview with, you know, Diane Sawyer. But I think when she got the BET, we really got to understand why she did this album, and it made perfect sense.
Right. I think that interview overshadowed so much. People focused on that so much that they didn't really focus on the album. And that's
they played the song. Your song was the beginning of the introduction when they started the interview.
Yeah, everybody focused in on that interview and her saying, you know, crack is whack, and that's what they blew up. So I think it kind of overshadowed the album, to where, you know, it just got messy. So. Like I said, it didn't sit with me. I think occasionally, like, this was the time where, like I said, the internet wasn't what it is now. We didn't have Instagram, so we didn't have daily feeds on what was going on. So if I happened to see a Billboard magazine in the studio, I happened to see it. I'm like, oh, look, our song up there. But it wasn't nothing like we searching every day. Let me see where the song is, because we were so busy working. We didn't have time for that. Like, shoot, I was just trying to keep my eyes open and be okay and just make it to the next day. So all that stuff didn't really hit me. I believe at my listening party, my manager at the time, he made a plaque, and in the plaque he had I was in a Billboard magazine, so he had cut it out, I think, and he had put like the the charts on there, and it's up in my house. But that was like the only times I didn't really look for it, you know, because you could set yourself up for disaster doing that.
That's true.
Yeah, looking for things, and if it doesn't turn out to be what you wanted it to be, then you'll be disappointed. And but that's what I'm saying. Even with the single, them telling me this was gonna be her single, I was like, whatever. Y'all just telling me. You know, I don't know until I see a video. Then I know it's gonna be her single. You know, that's just what it was, and that was the realistic viewpoint we had to have, because I don't want to get my hopes up and I'm telling my family, I got this, and then I'm looking stupid. So I'm just like, you know, just let it play out the way it was gonna play out.
Well, and it did, because I mean, you had Ronna Isley on there on the video, so I mean, you had 2 icons on there.
That's a timeless song anyway. You know, between the sheets, sampled, you know, and duplicated and tried to replicate it. You know, it's just a song that's gonna last forever.
That part, when you cruising in your car, I said, come on, Whitney, like, come on, girl. I was like, I just feel like this is the Whitney that's why when she talked about with Free and AJ, like, she just wanted to have one of those days where she just herself. I think that's what Whitney wanted to do with this album. She wanted to be who she was, and that's why I love about this album, because I just sit back and think today, like, this album was very different from what she was used to back in the beginning of her career in '85. So now we're in 2002 in the 21st century. It's like, in some type of way, people are trying to think, how is she going to connect with the younger folks? You know what I'm saying? You know, I know Whitney since 95. It obviously, like, she was already queen. But I think in the 2000s, with the group that she was trying to get, like you said, competing with those beats with Timbaland and the Neptunes, I think what you and Shakespeare and all y'all did was you fit her right in with the 2000s, because we still had a chance for R&B music. Even though hip-hop was like point at the top, she had the groove and the chance for her to understand at the end of the day, Whitney has already been established. She doesn't need to change her ways to get with the times. You know what I'm saying? So for yourself, I love One of Those Days, because I remember watching on BET when I was 12. Yes, I'm telling my age. I was 12 years old watching One of Those Days. I was. I just loved it because, I mean, even though at the chance they didn't give, I think the promotional, I wish we would have got more of the album because they were so focused on the interview, like we said. I feel like voice and talent supersedes that. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't worry about her personal life, because of her, like she always said, her personal life is not none of y'all business. Listen to the music. It's gonna be in the music if you understand. But at the end of the day, it's the respect for her to understand that she's still a human being. You know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And none of us are perfect. We all fall short. So and like, you know, we have different stages in our lives. You know, we learn from different things, you know, and sometimes we got to go through experience to learn things like, oh, I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. And I look back like, dang, I did that. I wore that. I look like that. Oh, but when you was talking about cruising in the car, it reminds me, Whitney told me, she said, I knew you had the power of the pen. Her favorite line of the song was, the simple things are not wasted. And she loved, like, I didn't think it was a big deal, but she was like, that line right there said so much. And then when you look at it, she was a star, you know, she's a celebrity. So for her to recognize that the simple things are not wasted, she could really relate to that, because the simple things for her was like just taking a stroll without people bothering her. So she appreciated just the small, simple things. And she wasn't a flashy woman. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't, like I said, she was a diva in her own right, as far as her crown being an R&B pop princess queen. But she wasn't like I said, she didn't walk in with sunglasses on, don't speak to nobody. Like, she was a real one. She was a real one.
So now, since in 2022, you know your song been out and about in these meme streets. You know that, right, on Twitter.
I know that.
So in 2022, says Lord and the Lord. Now, you know, in 2022 now, just Whitney's kind of resurfaced now because of the female rappers. So, you know, Nicki Minaj, you know, Cardi B have this ongoing beef. So, you know, recently, they were talking about, you know, I guess Cardi and them had their little 1-2 differences. And I remember, I guess whoever she got into it with, they were kind of coming for Offset. So, you know, a lot of people don't understand. Offset was in the What You Looking At video. And I want to shout out my girl, Tammy Latrell. She actually wrote that song for Whitney. Shout out to her. But the crazy part about it was Nicki had posted a meme about your song. So how do you feel that Nicki Minaj, people like her, are kind of letting people to understand that I guess it's just Whitney album? Because yeah, she thought One of Those Days, I don't know if they were trying to be messy with the Offset, because Offset was in the What You Looking At video, but they threw your song out there as a meme to kind of get a repost, like saying like Offset was with Whitney Houston. So how do you feel that there's female rappers understanding about your song, but not even that they have memes now about the song and putting Whitney Houston in it?
That's I even asked my daughter. My daughter is a TikToker, so I was like, "Did you see anything?" She was like, "Mom, I don't know." I'm like, I didn't. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't. I'm not really on TikTok, so I don't know. But I didn't know. I had no clue. And I mean, shoot, they still playing her song. I'm all for it. Come on, keep on. But yeah, I mean, even you hitting me up, that's just an honor that people not forgetting the things that I've done. That means a lot to me, you know, because in a way, and all these different things happen. And, you know, people, I have people hitting my YouTube page up that I do not ever look at, which is horrible. But I'll get, alerts on your emails. And they're like, I've been looking for this song for 15 years, 20 years. And I'm so glad I found it. And I was like, dang, so this song is super old and you still remember this song and you like this song. So I'm like, it must be something there. It must be something there. So I just feel blessed and honored for people to even like anything that I created. That's a blessing in this. So
I think right. It's just like for people like Offset to be in the video, little baby Offset at the time from the Migos. Ain't that crazy?
I had no clue. You showed me that. I was like, oh my goodness. You never know. Never know who's going to what. It's like you always to people.
Amen. But it was funny that Nicki Minaj used one of those days, Mean Girl, and I was falling out laughing. I was like, ma'am, that's the wrong song. But I mean, hey, go ahead and put one of those days on there so my girl Patrice can get her check.
Change.
Come on. But when you got one of the biggest rappers in the world, I think reposting your song, not even reposting your song, or not even reposting a meme about it, it goes to show you that people paid attention to this album. You know what I'm saying? So it's truly timeless. But like I said, to see Offset from that time to now and being with Whitney Houston, people try to play him, but you can't get mad. He was with a legend before he became up and coming. You know what I'm saying?
He was on the screen, period. So hey, Boo Boo was on the screen and we was watching him and we talking about him right now. So he is something right.
That part, sis, yes, thank you so much. So sis, so you've been writing a lot of iconic hits throughout the years. You know, congratulations on the 20th anniversary of Whitney. You done My Girls Isis, Stood Up. I love that song. I wish it would have been a single. I still kind of root for that to this day. Stood Up. Also, you did stuff for 702, and the girl, you did my #1 song off of the biggest album in the world, Mr. Earth, Raymond IV. That's what it paid for, girl. When I say that is my #1 song, me and my whole family in Louisiana, we played that song every minute by the minute. That is just a timeless song. So I wanted to ask you, but before we even ask you about that, like I want to ask you, how did you get on that project? But not even that, how did you get involved with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis with the Confessions album?
Okay, so Jimmy and Terry had an artist named Nodisha. Shout out to Nodisha. And
you wrote for her too?
Yeah. And so I was with them, I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe it might be longer than that, who knows. But Terry was with us, and Terry loved me or leave me alone. And he just was like so intrigued, like, who do you listen to? And I was just like, Shirley Murdoch, Stevie Wonder, you know. But he was just he loved my talent, but he taught me too. He taught me a lot. He told me and I'll never forget this, and this can go to any songwriters, aspiring songwriters, established songwriters. He said, if you can't say that line in a sentence and it makes sense, don't write it. And I was like, preach. And see, nowadays, they don't do that. They say, chop up words, and I mean, it feel good, but I'm a word person. So I'm really into what are we saying? It got to make sense. Right. So I remember that, and I was just like, dang. And when I thought Shake was hard. Terry looked my butt. I mean, I was right. No, we gotta change this. Do it again. I'm like, damn. Like, it feel good. Just leave it. But so I knew Jimmy and Terry from that, and Big Jim, rest in peace. That was my guy.
Girl.
Yeah, love him, Big Jim. I was with them for a while, and got to know them really good. We fell in love with one another, and then I live in LA, and so Jimmy and Terry, their studio is out here. So he would call me like, actually, I'm on Yolanda Adams' album. Also.
Be Blessed, girl. I didn't even know you was on Be Blessed. Girl, I forgot to throw that out there. You was on there too.
Yeah. So he would call me like, are you available? Can you come up here? We need some background vocals. So I'm like, shoot, Jimmy called, peace, I'm out. So I remember he called, he was like, I need you to do some vocals. So I was like, okay, cool. So I come up there, and matter of fact, when I was there, Kanye West comes there. That's the first time I've been fucking backpack. I'm like, who is this dude with a backpack on? What you doing? But he was hungry then. He was trying to sell his beats and stuff then. But they had me do the backgrounds or whatever, and he was like, ButtaPhly, I need you to do this sexy talking part. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so we in the studio that they had, it wasn't a window, so they couldn't see in there. So it's me and Usher in the booth. So he had one mic.
With Usher? Girl, yeah, he had keep going.
He had one mic, another one, and he was just grinding while he doing part or whatever. I'm trying not to look at him, but I'm just playing along with whatever energy he was giving me. I was doing it too. I remember Terry had to stop it. He stopped. He said, "What y'all doing in there?" I was like, "I swear we're not doing nothing." He was like, "If your grandfather heard you," I was like, "I let my mama hear this." And Terry kind of telling me, "Say this or whatever." And it was pretty much improv though. For the most part, it was all improv. We just feeding off each other's energy. And I remember when I walked back in the studio, they was looking at me like, what was y'all doing in there? I was like, we weren't doing nothing. Okay. So I didn't let my mama hear for a long time. Like, I wouldn't really let her listen to it. I would tell my mom before I played it, like, Mom, you know this is like acting. So like I'm being an actor.
That's what I thought.
I'm being an actor. And I remember a friend of mine, I didn't even know I was on that album. I'm telling you, this is how the industry works. You don't know things until it come out. I remember, yes, he took me, we went to like Harold and Bells, and he was like, I got Usher new album. So I was like, oh, play it. I was like, wait, that's me. That's me. I was like, that's me. Oh, that's me. That's me. That's the song I did. And they actually wanted me for Can You Handle It? Wait, was it Can You Handle It?
Girl, why you didn't do that too? You would have been eating it because Paula Patton. Girl, Robin had Paula Patton on there. I said, child, what?
Wait, what was the other? Was it Can You Handle It? Or
I know you were on the Rhythm City volume thing.
Huh?
Rhythm City volume thing. I know you were doing that too. His song. Rhythm City, you were back and forth for doing the most.
Oh wait, doing the most for what? What artist?
It's Rhythm City, the DVD. Oh, I got you got credit background vocals for that, darling. Look.
Like I said, everything was moving so fast, I wouldn't even know what I was doing. Like I was just, yeah. And like I said, even this, nobody called and told me we made the album. Even the Yolanda, she got a Grammy for that song.
Yeah.
For like I said, they wouldn't call and tell me nothing. I just had to figure it out on my own. But I found out I was like, I couldn't believe that I was on that album. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then they actually, the focus at that time was Janet, because they were working on Janet at that time. So they even Bobby even told me we weren't even worried about Usher. Usher was not a big deal to them. They was just doing stuff.
Oh.
But it blew up so big.
Girl.
It just blew up. Nobody thought it was gonna be that big.
I think none of us did, girl. When that mug blew up, girl, everybody and their mama played that damn CD out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, I love that album. I love that album. Oh, but they were trying to get me on another song. I forgot which song it was. But they couldn't get in contact with me. That's what happened. They couldn't get in contact with me, and I'm like, damn, where was I at? I would have loved to be on that too. But I mean, I was just blessed. That's all I can say. I was just blessed, just knowing people and them thinking it. Even Terry to even think of me. Out of all these singers in LA, you even think to call me, like, you know what? Let me call her and get her up there. So that was a blessing in any way, you know, just like, oh my goodness. And I love Jimmy and Terry. They're the coolest cats ever. But like I said, they've been around so long. Terry whooped my ass, man. Writing, he'll be like a teacher. He like, nope, come back, do it. Nope, do it. Damn.
So what in the Janet documentary that we seen this year, they really on hardcore like that on that documentary that they had. Because Janet, girl, they worked her.
No, they are, and I can only imagine. I didn't see the documentary, but just working with them, oh, they are perfectionists. They do not let. They do not let you let a and. Oh, you got to take that out. I'm like, it's just and. It's just and. Ain't nobody gonna pay attention to it. Take it out. We need something else. I'm like, damn. So actually, you know, I would be cussing underneath my breath, but at the end of the day, I learned so much from them cats, man. And there are some legends, you know, just being able to work with these legends. I'll be stupid not to listen to them. So I'm like, shoot, they've been so successful. I'm gonna absorb any and everything they can teach me. So he really like made me buckle down on don't just say it because it feel good. What you saying though? So I'm like, damn, I really gotta pay attention to what I'm saying. So that's when I got into the lyrics. Like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm saying I could say this and it makes sense.
Sis, when I tell girl, I'm gonna tell you, Confessions to me is the blueprint of 2000 albums, and I feel like something about that album. And I always say this: when I was 14, I was a freshman in high school, and when I heard I was like, I don't know how big this song was gonna get, but girl, it just blew up. And I think got the album, I didn't understand how great of an R&B body of work it was. And when I heard that mug, girl, that mug is a no skip. That's a no skip album. That is a perfect album. R&B. It's my number 2 album of all time. But girl, I'm gonna tell you, that's what it's made for. I had my 8-year-old cousin singing "That's What It's Made For." When you got 8-year-olds,
not the 8-year-old,
baby, we didn't care, baby. That is our number 1 song. That song got played more. I think everything that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did was the most played songs off the album. Nothing against the singles. I don't have them because, like I said, the singles made the album. But I love, and I want to shout out the R&B representatives. What Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and what y'all did, y'all made the meat of the body of the work, made the album for what it was. Because all the songs y'all did on there, well, all the songs that everybody did on there, but that song, That's What It's Made For, it really was like the gem of the album to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I go there all the time, because everybody's like, well, why you like the song? I said, girl, because it's real R&B. But not even that, you know, it's coming from I guess like a sexual place. You can hear the vocals in it, but not even that. You can hear, I think, the theme of the album of Confessions. You know what I'm saying? But girl, let me tell you, I had definitely. We all sung that damn song, but that's my number 1 song off the album, period. Girl, I'm sorry, but it's true.
Yeah, I loved our backgrounds, our vocals. I loved our I think we sounded real good together.
Y'all did, because we made Terry think y'all was doing some of that food.
Oh, I know. I didn't do anything. He didn't touch me.
I'm just saying how Usher was rolling his body. That's the funny part.
I wonder if I remember gyrating. I was like, I better get into character too. So I was like, okay. Yeah, but Usher is such a wonderful timeless. He's such a talent. Like, I mean, wonderful. He has such a good spirit too. Just always smiling. He was just really cool to work with. He didn't make me feel intimidated or nothing. He was just super cool. And Scrap is one of his good friends too. So it was just cool. It was just the way everything came together. It was like divine. It was wonderful.
Girl, you good because it's Diamond. So you good, and then some. It's Thriller. In my book, it's Thriller Michael Jackson. So you got a Thriller moment for your book. But I want to ask you, what is the key of making a hit record? Since we talked about all these timeless hits that you made, what is the key of making a hit record? And if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
Okay, so I would say the key, me as a writer, if I'm not feeling the track within 2 bars, don't even waste your time.
What?
I have to feel it. And that might not be good, but I know within 2 bars if I'm gonna like the track, the song, because I immediately feel it. I immediately hear, it's like a spirit come over me. And I'm like, I'll feel it, like, okay. And I would say, do not write to anything that you are not feeling. Don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time, because it's gonna end up being work. And music shouldn't be work. It's a craft. It's a gift. It's a vibe. It's a wave. You know what I mean? And yeah, so you got to go off the wave and the vibe. And if it's clashing, you can't force it. And then sometimes, and this happened to me a lot, I have to take a break from it. Something I might not like at first, I'll listen to it again, and I'll come up with something like, damn, why did I skip past this? Like, so I guess it's what mind frame you're in at the time too. But the hook is the biggest thing, of course. The hook is the biggest thing for a song. If the song, I always learn, like, if a 3-year-old can sing it and it stays in their mind, it's a catchy hook, then go with it. That's it. So I learned, like, not the hooks, not to be too wordy. Keep them simple, keep them catchy. The more simple and catchy that they can be, the more people will gravitate to it. Because, you know, even people that, you know, music surpasses languages. So if we got people in China singing this, we got to have something that they can, something simple, them simple English words that they can grasp onto, like, yeah, you know what I mean? So to keep the hook simple, the hook is the biggest thing. And just with me, like, the way I write, I'll put on a track and I'll just sing so many melodies, and I'll record myself, and then I'll listen back. And the ones that stick out the most are the ones that I'll gravitate to. So I would say, you know, go with your heart, your gut. God gave you this talent, this gift. Don't second guess yourself. It's like having that first voice you hear. Go with that, and don't second guess yourself. And writing is always rewriting. So, you know, you can do something and go back to it. You can always change it, but the things that stay in your mind and stick in your mind, and don't overdo yourself. So like I'll sit up there and I'll burn myself out and I'm like, I gotta take a break from it. Let me rest my ears, maybe even start working on another song, and then let me come back to that. And I'll be like, oh, what I thought was whack, I'm feeling it now. Okay, I know where I can go now. So don't be too hard on yourself. You know, music's supposed to be fun. It's not chemistry. It's not, I mean, it is a chemistry, but it's not physics. It's not science to where it has to be so precise. It's a feeling, you know, it's a vibe. So I would just say, you know, go with your gut, go with what you feel, and really focus on the hook. When you get a good solid hook, the verses can come after. But then also stick to a cool topic. You know, come up with something unique. I normally do like clusters. I write a topic of what I want to write about and just write a whole bunch of stuff about that topic. And you pick and choose what to take out of it. But don't gear away far too much. But it's like a story. You're telling a story with music. And stick to your story. Tell your story. But the hook is what's gonna sell the song.
That's deep. I know I don't really talk about the hook like that, girl, because you know they're trying to get rid of bridges in this day and age. And I'm like, we need bridges too.
I just heard Armand and Trey. They got a song called Get Back. And they got a little beat section in there. I was like, ooh, to me it set the song off. I'm like, I'm feeling this. And they R&B, I like that. I mean, they put their little trap to it too, but I like the fact that we still have artists out here that sticking to the script. They sticking to the R&B. You know, they're not gonna let it die. I know it's not gonna die. Everybody keeps saying, you know, R&B is dead or what, this, that, and the other, but R&B will never die. This is a part. It's rhythm and blues. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of it. The stem, the root is gospel. It comes. This is our history, our culture. So we ain't going. We might have our times where it switched up a little bit, but it's always a lane and an avenue for R&B lovers. People love soul music, you know, because it speaks to your soul, truthfully.
Soul says, speak to the soul. Thank you. I want people to understand that it has to touch the soul, and I always say that music has to touch the soul. So, sis, I want to ask you, like, what did you answer? What was your favorite hit from your catalog, or do you have a favorite hit?
I think from my catalog, writing for other people or myself.
It don't matter, whatever you want, because you know it
is. Let me see. For myself, Love Me or Leave Me Alone is always gonna be one of my best. But I got this song called Silly and Me. I love my backgrounds. Like I said, I love backgrounds, and I feel like I brought it with the backgrounds on Silly. I really, really love my backgrounds on Silly. As far as any other artists, girl. Well, the song never came out, but it was a song. She was with Black Ground, Aaliyah's uncle's record label. Her name was Leah. She was like did that song Sunshine with that rapper from Houston.
Girl. What?
Yeah, I did a song with Leah called Let Go, and I love that song, but nobody ever got to hear it. I love that song. I was mad I gave it to her. That's how much I loved it. But I love that song. It's called Let Go.
She was on Black Ground?
Yeah, she was on.
I did not. Oh wow.
Yeah, signed to Black Ground. Saint Nick. Did Saint Nick do the track? Yeah, Saint Nick did the track, and we did a song called Let Go. And I love that song.
Wow.
Off the top of my head, I love the 702 songs. Feelings. I would probably say Feelings. I love Feelings. I love today. I could still listen to Feelings and I still be like, I love this song. Because it was a whole vibe. We was having fun while we was writing. It was just like I said, it was a vibe, you know, it was a feeling. So it felt good. And we like, hey, it was cool. So I would have to say.
My friend JR, he said he feel like that's their best album, 702. And like I said, when I listened to it, I felt like it was great. They got another sound, another group, because I guess everybody's so used to 702 from the debut album. But I think each album they got better. Because Where My Girls At blew up after that.
Got way more attention than what it did. That album was a really good album. I mean, a really good album. And you got to really get to see their talent because they wrote with me. We all wrote together.
They do right, so, exactly.
Yeah. And Misha, we just came, it was just cool, you know, that I like it when a artist can give me something in return, so that I'm writing the song and you reading the script. You gonna feel it because it's part of you too. So you can relate to the lyrics because shoot, you wrote them with me. So
Amen.
I loved working with them.
That is so dope. A lot of people don't talk about 702, and I feel like they get slept on a lot.
Yeah, I love the 𝐼𝐳 songs we did too. I love the 𝐼𝐳 songs we did too.
Yeah, I love. Would have been a single, but oh well. It fit perfect at the time for the singles they would drop because girl, Single for the Rest of My Life, that is my song. I was obsessed with that song, but I felt like Stood Up should have been a single. I felt like it filled the groove of Day and Night. It could have been a continuation of that sound.
Right.
You know?
I agree, and then Kiana could sing her butt off. So yeah, she could blow. So I wish that album would have got more traction too.
Yeah, I think it is now. I think because as the 20th year has came around, is now people are starting to get they feel like it was underrated, was slept on. But I think too, for what you've done for your legacy is just super, super dope. You know what I'm saying? Because Patrice, like your name says, you evolved as a ButtaPhly. You really, really did a transition with yourself when it came to not even just groups, but people that are solo artists. We talking about Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? You really, really have made yourself known. Regardless if somebody is not known or known, you made the way for your sound to be in somebody's work. You know what I'm saying? And I have to respect that about you. So, sis, I want to ask you, now we're in 2022. What current projects do you have now? Are you still working back in music? Or I know you college educated. Congratulations on graduating again. I still gotta put that out there because I gotta give you so much respect for that. But what are you doing now in general with your legacy and stuff that you're doing now?
Thank you. Okay, so I went back to school. Well, okay, I had to go back to. I had an album with Arista also. I was signed to Arista. My album didn't come out because the label went under, and then I was stuck in a contract for 2 years. So it was a big headache. I got depressed, and I ended up having my daughter. So my whole life just completely changed, and I just was lost. Wow. Like, where do I go? So I was like, I went back to school. So I was like, okay, this is my talent. This is my gift. You can't never know too much. So I'm like, school only made me super better. Like, oh my goodness, like it just made me so much better. So I went and got my bachelor's in creative writing. So like I said, the pandemic set my behind down, and I had this adult animation idea, and that's what I was working on the last 2 years. And we just finished our pitch deck. We just actually had a meeting, a successful meeting this week.
Yeah.
So excited about this project. I wish I could share more with you right now, but I can't. But this is what I've moved over. Music is in my heart. It ain't going nowhere. It's a gift. Even if I wanted to try to get away from it, it's like a dude that just won't go away. Knocking on my door. That's my heart. That's my desire. But me and music have a love-hate relationship. I could love it, and it won't treat me the same way back. So, I wanted to do music on my terms. So, signing deals and stuff, and like when you said, like when 2002 hit, that's when the 360 deals came around. That's when the internet took over, and the whole music industry changed. People weren't getting paid the way they were supposed to. Everything was different, and I got caught. Everything just changed. And so I had to figure out where did I fit in, and this, that, and the other. And like I said, I wasn't able to make no moves. I couldn't sign to nobody because I was still signed to Arista, BMG. So I just was trying to find myself. And I went back to school. I was about to do radiology, but that ain't what I'll do. Writing is what I do. So I went back to school, and I just learned so much. And writing, like I said, is my passion. So music is not going nowhere. Music is actually incorporated in my TV projects. We're incorporating it a lot. So I've crossed over to TV writing and screenplays. So I have one project that's in the pipeline right now, and I'm working on my second project, and that's where I'm at right now. And really excited about it. I'm like super duper excited about it. And then hopefully, I'm not even gonna say hopefully, my music will be incorporated in the episodes. And
come on, sis. We need your music back because you have a gift and you have a voice, and I feel that just because you've been a gift to everybody else, I feel like you always should be a gift to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you have blessed so many people in this industry, and not even that, you really, really gave us timeless hits. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, girl, to this day, that's what I'm made for. That mug gets played. That is the first song that gets played when I play Confessions, period. Like, that is my heart. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry, what you said, sis?
I said, that's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm telling you, that gets played. Y'all don't understand, but that song right there, that's deep. But I just love for what you did for your legacy. But I want to ask you, if you had to describe, since today is the 20th anniversary of Whitney Houston's 5th album, if you had to describe one word about this album, what word would it be?
You know, I pondered over that question because I was like, what word would it be? So I had to go back and listen to the album again today. And the word that I would come up with is timeless. You are still being... Whitney is still speaking to us in 2022, and she's been gone. So I would say timeless, because to me it sounds better today than it did then. So
I think that's what it is. It resonates through time.
Yeah, I would say timeless. And let me give a shout out to Scrap, Dwight Reynolds. He did the Whitney stuff with me. I don't want to leave him out. That's my boy. That's my brother. And like we did the whole boot camp together too. So I want to shout him out. I don't want to forget about him. And Shakespeare too. Shakespeare. And when you sent me that video of Whitney shouting me out, I sent it to Shake, and he was like, "Wow, I never saw this." And that's what I'm telling you. Like, we were so taken away from things, we didn't even pay attention to a lot of the things that were going on because we were so busy working. Yeah. So he was like, I never saw this. He said, this is big. So I sent him. So you put a smile on. He said, this made my day. So and you put a smile on his face too.
Child, Whitney put a smile on all y'all faces because she shouted everybody out. And I want to shout out Gordon Chambers. He was saying this too. That's why he loved Whitney, because Whitney didn't just think about herself. She thought about all y'all. And that's why I call this album her freedom album, her independent album. Because for me, like I said earlier, this album really, really is what Whitney wanted. She wanted an R&B, and I feel like a soulful album. And I love what Gordon said. Gordon said, I feel like this Whitney album is the most soulful album in her catalog, in her discography, period. Because when I sit back and listen to it, I can hear it at the barbecues with my family, us chilling out of town, stuff like that, what I used to when I was growing up. And I think for Whitney, what I learned about Whitney too, she was really finding her freedom in this album. Getting away from Clive Davis at the time, this was a huge different thing for her. She was transitioning into like her new era family with L.A. Reid and with you and with Shakespeare and everybody who was a part of that project. Because I feel like for me, Whitney got with y'all and made R&B music. Real talk. Like Whitney had R&B songs from her repertoire, yes, but it was mixed with, I think, a lot of pop ballads. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what kind of shout out who Whitney is, because we know Whitney is a gospel singer, period. But when you have an R&B sound with that, and I felt like when you listen to Dear John Letter, Try My Own, One of Those Days, What You Looking At, these give me an R&B feeling. Like I said, Tweet was on the album, and Tweet had just came out as an artist. So I feel like she was giving back to y'all just like y'all gave back to her. But I feel like for me, this album is the most freedom album. This album, to me, that's why I see why it's just Whitney, because this is what Whitney wanted to do, was R&B. And I feel in my heart, that's why I had to give it so much love today, because for this album to be 20 years old and for what I do on my platform, we'll talk about R&B music, I think this album to me is her most R&B album of all time from her catalog.
I totally agree with you. And I didn't even think about that until you mentioned that. And I was just like, dang, this is her most R&B album, because I'm listening to even the Bodyguard soundtrack and 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿's soundtrack. She did a lot of R&B, but she had these grooves on Just Whitney, and that's what Shake was. He was focused on. He was like, we want you to groove. We don't want you to just sit up there and stand in a gown. We want you to do you. You know what I mean? So I really feel like we accomplished that too. And that's what she wanted to do. She wanted her people to accept her. Clyde was making her do the pop, in which she did effortlessly, but she had that R&B in her that she wanted to roll her neck and swing side to side, do her two-step. And I think we did, because we had a lot of fun doing this album. It was a lot of dancing in the studio, and her and Bobby dancing, us all dancing, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And that's what we tried to convey on the album.
And definitely you said about her and Bobby. I feel like this was her and Bobby's love letter too, because she had a lot of love ballads talking about her and Bobby's relationship, because people were always trying to downplay them, because I forgot too, this was when they were married for 10 years. They were going on 10 years in their marriage. So I feel like the freedom of Whitney, R&B of Whitney, But the love she had for Bobby was really culminating in this album. And that's why it makes perfect sense on why I think Bobby was the EP at the time, because, you know, even though he was known for his R&B stuff, we didn't get a chance to see Whitney there. And I think for him, bringing at the time, his wife at the time, this R&B album was to bring Britney back to us. And I was truly proud she did that.
Right. And one thing I can say, just like you said, they had already been together for a long time. And I could not believe that they were so much still in love. I cannot convey that enough to anybody. They would still just be singing to each other, looking at each other in their eyes. And I was just thinking, like, the media don't show this. The media say something. That's why when I wrote Dear John letter, I was doing it for her to leave him. But that's why she stopped. She shut that down like, it's my man, baby. It's my man. and I see, you know, they were still really in love. I mean, like, I'm like, wow, after all this time, still really in love. And it is what it is. Exactly what it is.
And that's why I have to give you, sis, your flowers and your respect, because what you've done in R&B in general for your legacy means so much to me in the 2000s, but not even that. You have really created a lane for yourself. And that's why I was so proud to interview you, because when I found out who you were, I was like, wait a minute, this lady needs to be honest. She needs her flowers, because you say you stuff for other people, but you done stuff to be go to back to school, and, you know, not even that be example for your daughter, but not even that be example for the world. And I think for what you've done for Whitney and everybody in this R&B industry, your flowers are well deserved, and that's why I give you so much respect.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. You warm my heart hitting me, asking. I was like, you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's so easy to forget everything that I've done, because life just take you different places. Yeah. But it's never, like you said, it's never too late. It's never too late to learn. It's never too late to start something new, because remember, right, I could do all things through Christ that strengthened me. So I can do whatever I want. And baby, my album that never got to see the light of day, it's gonna be one that will see the light of day. And I'm way more mature vocally. I'm so much better, and I've experienced a lot of life to be able to write about things. I was telling my mom, you know, I didn't really experience life at that time. I was so sheltered that the world kicked my butt. So I got a whole lot to talk about. So y'all stay tuned.
Yes, sis. Come on. Yes, sis. Oh, I'm so proud of you. So I want to ask you, did you have any last words that you want to say, or anything that you got going on, or not even that? What do you feel about your legacy now in 2022?
I just want everybody to keep R&B alive. You know, just keep it alive. Keep doing soul music. I know Tyrese is a big advocate with that, but stay true to the. I know the fads go, but those songs are not timeless. You're not listening to them choppy songs in 5 years. We still listening to songs that got that soul to them, that got that groove to them, that you feel. You know, you feel that pain, you feel that emotion in the vocals, not these auto-tune choppy stuff. And I like it. Don't get me wrong, I do like them. But it's not timeless. And that's going back to the full circle of the one word that would describe just Whitney, and I would say it's timeless.
It says we in the right there. I am so proud of you, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for not even honoring yourself, but you honor Whitney, but not that you honor this beautiful body of work, because for what you did, you know, R&B for your legacy, but not in that for Whitney Houston. This lady will forever be remembered. Now, I know this year has been the 10th year since she's passed away, and it has been, you know, over 10 years since she's passed, and not even that 20 years since this album. But I feel like for me, I'm so proud that you gave Whitney back to us, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, for real, for real.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Look, listen to Dear John Little Child, because that one had me in a groove. So
I love it. That's actually my favorite one.
For real? You know what? My favorite one is Tried on My Own, but I do like Dear John Letter. That one kind of was a hook, because, like, I see what she was doing with that. I said, okay, I see what Patrice was trying to. I see why, because it was about Bobby in some type of way. But at the end of the day, she wanted to be back with her man. That was all. That's all was about.
Yeah, I like the groove. I really like the B section. The B section is my favorite part of the song.
You eat everything. So like that says, you good in my book forever and a day. But I'm so proud of you. And I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I want to give you your flowers are well deserved on my platform. But guys, we are done with my beautiful interview with the R&B legend, period. The singer, and songwriter, the one and only Patrice, ButtaPhly Stewart. Thank you so much, Queen, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.